So my name's Tina Azarvand. I'm the managing partner of Azarvand Tax Law.
Okay, Ms. Azarvand, attorney, can you talk about the events today and you try to explain updates, especially with the big beautiful bill getting signed into law and it's the repercussions it has in the CNMI tax system. Can you give us a brief summary on your presentation today?
Sure. So, there have been some good things that came out of the big beautiful bill with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. A lot of provisions there, most really, were extended, including 100% bonus depreciation, the Qualified Business Income Deduction, and there were some other small benefits there as well that they have increased. Otherwise, I'd say the boosting of the child tax credit should help some families out here as well, so for those who have children under the age of 17. And then the two biggest things that people have been talking about the most from the big beautiful bill is the exemption on overtime and the exemption on tax on tips. So really, to clarify what ended up happening with that legislation is the no tax on tips is actually going to be an income tax deduction for the employee. So they will still have taxes withheld, income and FICA, and then they will get a deduction on above the line deduction equal to what they had in overtime. And it's the same thing with tax on tips. So the thresholds are different. It's $12,500 and then $25,000, but it's double when you're married. So that's something to keep in mind. But with them being above the line, the difference of a regular itemized deduction that's below the line. Above the line means you can be taking the standard deduction and then also taking this deduction on top of that. So with that, generally that's going to help a lot of people because they're going to be being able to deduct that from their taxes. However, here people are paying 9% or up to 9% of their wages in tax, and it's a gross tax. So that, when it's on the gross amount, that's essentially the pre-deduction amount. So prior to any, deduction for their overtime or tax on tips. So the tax rate effectively is the same. There is, a FICA tip credit for bars and restaurants, and that's actually a big thing that was being brought up in this no tax on tips is how come we're not making bars and restaurants pay FICA, but you go, to a masseuse or you go to a hairstylist and they're getting taxed and their employer is getting taxed, with the tip credit where it won't necessarily, cover 100% of it, but it's going to cover some of it because it's a portion as long as you're paying $5.15, an hour without the tips, because obviously you can pay servers less. So as long as you meet that threshold, there is a portion, where you can get that back. So that's something to be mindful of. That already existed though, but that was really the goal, is to bring that for all businesses, and it really didn't happen. It's just this income tax deduction for the taxpayer. So, it doesn't hurt anyone, but it's not going to benefit someone as if they were, in Hawaii or California or wherever else. So,
can you talk about child tax? What's the update on the child tax and with this big beautiful bill now into law?
Sure. So it was boosted from $2,000 to $2,200, and the refundable portion is now $1,700. So it's not a huge boost. It's approximately 10%, but it's a small increase that will help families a little bit.
Anything else you want to say about the presentation today? Were you happy about the turnout, and how about the questions that people seem to ask after the Q&A portion right now?
Yeah, well, good question. On the turnout, it's never a bad thing when you need to grab more chairs. Questions, they're always good. It's good to see there's people thinking about relocating here. I like that she asked about, what would be, the difference if I moved from California to here? I always find that to be interesting because I do think the CNMI has a very unique tax code that really could attract a lot of people here if they knew about it.